You're watching this because you're stuck. You know exactly what you need to do. You have the vision, you have the goal. You probably even have a color-coded Notion board that you spent 4 hours setting up instead of actually doing the work. But right now, you are lying there, or sitting there, letting your life bleed out through a glowing rectangle. You are waiting for a magical feeling called motivation to strike you like lightning, and it is completely destroying your potential. You think your problem is laziness. You think you're just built wrong, that you lack some genetic drive that successful people have. That is a lie. The self-help industry sold you a disease so they could sell you the cure. They told you that you need to feel inspired to act. They told you that you need the perfect morning routine, the right playlist, the optimal lighting, and a matcha latte before you can finally sit down and do the work. It is absolute garbage. You don't need a life hack. You need a reality check. And the reality check I'm about to give you isn't new. It's 2,000 years old. It's a cheat code built by emperors and slaves who conquered the known world, and it will cure your laziness today. But you are going to hate hearing it. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Think about a guy. We will call him David. David is smart. David has massive ambitions. David wants to start a business, get in shape, build an empire from his laptop. He wakes up on a Monday feeling like an absolute weapon. He watches a motivational video, feels a massive surge of dopamine, and promises himself that today is the day everything changes forever. He goes to his 9 to 5, gets yelled at by his boss, sits in gridlocked traffic for an hour, and gets home at 6 in the evening. Now, the master plan was to work on his business. But David's brain, which is essentially just a highly evolved survival engine wrapped in bone, assesses the situation. His brain says we are tired, we are stressed, our cortisol is high, we need immediate, low-effort comfort to survive. So David says to himself, I'll just watch one episode to decompress. I just need to relax for 30 minutes so I can focus. You know exactly how this ends. 30 minutes turns into 4 hours of a Netflix binge, followed by an hour of mind-numbing scrolling until 2 in the morning. David goes to bed drowning in guilt, feeling sick to his stomach, hating himself for being lazy. He whispers the ultimate lie of the modern age into his pillow. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll have more energy. Tomorrow, I'll feel like it. David is trapped in a prison of his own emotions. He has chained his actions completely to his feelings. If he feels good, he works. If he feels bad, tired, or stressed, he does absolutely nothing. And because modern life is inherently stressful and exhausting, David does nothing almost every single day. He is failing because he fundamentally misunderstands human biology and human psychology. He thinks motivation is the fuel that starts the engine. It isn't. The paradigm shift you need, the 2,000-year-old cheat code that shatters this endless loop of failure, comes from the highest seat of power in the ancient world. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. He had infinite wealth, infinite power, and the weight of the entire known world crushing down on his shoulders. He was leading armies, dealing with plagues, and managing a continuously fracturing empire. Do you think he woke up every morning feeling highly motivated? Do you think he hopped out of bed excited to go deal with betrayals, politics, and barbarian invasions? No. We know exactly what he felt because he wrote it down in his private journal. He literally wrote about how much he hated getting out from under the warm blankets. He argued with himself. He wrote, at dawn, when you have trouble waking up, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? This is the absolute core of hardcore Stoicism. It is the philosophy of total, ruthless detachment. The cheat code is this: your feelings do not matter. They are entirely irrelevant to the task at hand. You have to sever the neurological link between how you feel and what you do. Laziness is not a physical condition. Laziness is an emotional indulgence. It is giving your feelings the steering wheel of your life. The Stoic realization is that you are a biological machine, and you can force the machine to move, regardless of the chemical state of your brain. You don't cure laziness by finding motivation. You cure laziness by rendering motivation obsolete. You stop asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" And you start stating, "This is what is required, therefore it will be done." Action does not require a specific mood. You can be exhausted, depressed, angry, and completely burnt out, and your hands will still type on the keyboard. Your legs will still walk into the gym. Your mouth will still speak the words. You must adopt a mindset of militant detachment from your own internal whining. How do we actually apply this dark, mechanical view of productivity to your life right now? How do we hack your primate brain and force it to execute? Here are 3 ruthless, real-world steps you are going to take the second this screen goes black. Step number 1, the 5-minute brutal contract. The reason you paralyze yourself with laziness is that your brain visualizes the entire agonizing mountain of work. If you need to edit a massive project, your brain thinks about the 3 hours of staring at a timeline, the audio mixing, the sheer boredom of it. Your brain panics and seeks comfort. You are going to hack this by lying to your brain. You are going to make a brutal contract with yourself. You are going to commit to doing exactly 5 minutes of the task. That is it. You tell yourself, I am going to open the software, make 1 cut, write 1 paragraph, and if I still want to quit after 5 minutes, I will. Your brain will accept this because 5 minutes is a low-threat environment. But here is the weird science of human psychology. Once you start, you trigger a mechanism called the Zeigarnik effect. Human beings are psychologically wired to hate uncompleted tasks. Once you are in motion, the friction of starting vanishes. The hardest part is crossing the threshold from 0 to 1. Force the 5 minutes with cold, detached execution. 99% of the time, the momentum takes over and you finish the job. Step number 2, kill the tomorrow fantasy. This is the deadliest psychological trap you fall into. When you procrastinate, you are doing something insane. You are hallucinating a version of yourself in the future who is a superhero. You assume that tomorrow you will be rested, disciplined, and bursting with energy. Let me introduce you to reality. Tomorrow, you is exactly the same lazy, tired, excuse-making person you are right now. There is no magical transformation happening at midnight. If you cannot do it today, under these stressful, imperfect conditions, you will not do it tomorrow. To cure laziness, you have to murder the fantasy of tomorrow. You have to look at your current exhaustion and say, this is the baseline. It will never be easier than it is right now. The stars will never align. By accepting that the conditions will always be terrible, you strip away the excuse to wait. You force yourself to operate in the mud. Step number 3, embrace robot mode. This is the ultimate application of Stoic detachment. When the alarm goes off, or when it's time to sit down and work, your brain is going to scream at you. It will flood your system with stress hormones. It will give you 100 logical sounding reasons why you should rest, why you deserve a break, why the work can wait. Executes. When the friction hits, you executes. When the friction hits, you completely disengage from the internal dialogue. You do not argue with the laziness. Arguing with it means you are validating it as a legitimate point of view. You simply observe the feeling of not wanting to do it. You categorize it as irrelevant data, and you physically move your body. You become the silent observer of your own resistance. Say it out loud if you have to. I feel incredibly lazy right now, and I am going straight to the desk anyway. You separate the flesh from the will. You stop being a victim to your own fluctuating chemistry, and you start commanding yourself like a general commands a foot soldier. You have spent your entire life believing that your emotions are the ultimate authority. You have let your feelings dictate your future. That ends right now. The 2,000-year-old secret isn't a hack. It's a terrifying realization of your own agency. You don't need motivation. You don't need to feel good. You just need to move. So, look at the exact task you've been avoiding all week. Look at the pathetic excuse you've been clinging to, and ask yourself one final thing. Are you going to be the master of your own mind? Or are you going to let a temporary chemical feeling rob you of the life you actually want?